Ministry implements various measures to foster equitable access to free and quality education for children in marginalized areas and other underserved places. These measures are underpinned under Article 53 of the Constitution, which entitles every child to free and compulsory basic education. The measures that are in place include the following. One, there is a school meals program that we implement. This is a key government initiative designed to enhance access to and the retention of students in basic education, particularly among children in marginalized areas, arid and semi-arid, and food insecure areas. Some areas within Makwiny County benefit from this program, and the ministry has adopted a progressive targeting strategy to facilitate the expansion of the initiative to other undeserved areas. We are now working to integrate clean cooking solutions into the school-based interventions as part of the broader efforts to promote environmentally sustainable and climate-friendly practices within learning institutions. Mr. Speaker, we also implement the low-cost boarding schools and mobile schools program. The low-cost boarding schools are a strategic intervention that targets a particular catchment of learners in environments that may inhibit school attendance, retention, completion, and transition. The intervention assists the hard-to-reach and marginalized learners in ASAL and vulnerable areas in the country. These are learners who, due to various circumstances, including retrogressive cultural practices like female genital mutilation, forced early marriages, and nomadic lifestyle, are unable to attend to classes regularly and consistently. In order to ensure attendance and retention in school, in view of these challenges, the government supports their stay in low-cost boarding schools by paying subsidies to support the non-teaching staff in the boarding wing and learners' upkeep in the schools. Mr. Speaker, the schools are not expected to charge learners boarding fees. Government grants support learners' upkeep and subsidizes salaries of workers attached to boarding sections in the schools. The program started in 2016, and for the last 5 years, the program has been receiving an annual allocation of 400 million Kenya shillings despite the growth in enrollment. Currently, there are 486 public low-cost primary schools serving a total population of 144,845 learners. Mr. Speaker, learners who have been enrolled in school are saved from retrogressive practices like child labor, cattle rustling, and early marriages. This ultimately translates into improved transition and retention rates across the levels of basic education. The schools also serve as rescue centers for some of the learners who are kept in school and protected from the surrounding risks such as insecurity and retrogressive cultural practices. Madam Speaker, the primary challenge, honorable members, is the limited funding. As indicated above, the budgetary allocation has remained only 400 million over the last 5 years, even as the enrollment continues to grow. In the same vein, there is demand for expansion of the program to other regions such as urban informal settlements where children are vulnerable to child labor, early marriages, and insecurity. This will require an increase in the budgetary allocation. Program number 3 is out-of-school children advocacy campaigns. The Operation Come to School is a program that targets out-of-school children, including orphans, children with disabilities, married girls, street-involved children, and those in ASAL and underdeserved areas. Key barriers to their education include inadequate teaching staff and facilities, limited support for learners with disabilities, poor sanitation, and recognized alternative learning systems, child labor, food insecurity, gender insecurity, and limited use of ICT in education. Question number 2, Mr. Speaker, the government, through a multi-agency approach, is addressing the shortage of qualified teachers and supporting infrastructure development in Makwiny County and other undeserved areas across the country. As at the time of this response, Madam Speaker, the overall national teacher shortage stands at 98,461 teachers. To address this, the Commission has been undertaking the following interventions. 1, recruitment of additional teachers. The Teacher Service Commission annually seeks budgetary allocations to recruit teachers in response to the national staffing gaps. In the current financial year, a total of 1,429 teachers have been recruited on permanent and pensionable terms and deployed to schools across Makwiny County. Engagement of interns. To further mitigate the teacher shortage, the Commission has continued to engage teacher interns. In 2024-25 financial year, 691 teacher interns have been posted to schools in Makwiny. Replacement. To maintain teacher staffing levels, teachers who exit the service through retirement, resignation, or other reasons are replaced to maintain teachers' establishment. In Makwiny County, 348 such replacements have been undertaken this year. We've provided a table making the total of those additional teachers, teacher interns, and the replacements a total of now 2,468. The strategies outlined above are consistently being applied in our undeserved regions across the country, including arid and semi-arid lands and remote areas. These include targeted recruitments based on staffing gaps, replacement of exited teachers, and annual deployment of the teacher interns. Part 3 of that question, Madam Speaker, the school meals program plays a critical role in enhancing enrollment attendance, retention, and learning outcomes, particularly in drought-affected and food-insecure counties such as Makwiny. The request to expand the program across the entire Makwiny County is both valid and aligned with our national priorities in child welfare, education, access, and food security. Parts of Makwiny County are among the areas benefiting from the program, with selected schools already covered. It's imperative to note that the expansion of the program requires additional resources. Currently, we face physical constraints that have limited our ability to expand the program. However, we are actively engaging the National Treasury and development partners to mobilize additional funding that will help us expand into other areas that require the intervention. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable CS. We will now move on to maybe the next question is Senator Joe Nyoto.
Honorable Speaker, I think I need to ask the supplementary questions before you open it up.
Oh, you had not asked the supplementary questions?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Then I think, do you want to ask both right now or you want to ask one now?
I want to ask right now.
Okay, you can proceed, Senator Kathy.
Senator Joe. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable CS, I have two supplementary questions. The first one is, why have you reclassified Makwiny County as a non-hardship area for teachers? And secondly, Honorable Speaker, in Nairobi County, the most vulnerable are situated in the informal settlement. How many schools has the Ministry of Health built with public funds? How many public schools have been built in the informal settlements in Nairobi, Mathare, Mukuru, Kibera, and the others to support the highest population of vulnerable people within Nairobi County?
Okay, thank you, Senator Kathy. I think you were holding fort for Senator Manzo, who is now in the House, but now the questions have been asked. Anyway, let's proceed with the Minister responding to that. And before, Minister, you respond to that, CS, maybe we ask Senator Joe Nyoto's question, and then you can tackle both. to the...
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question to the CS is related to question number B of Senator Manzo's questions. Madam Speaker, in junior secondary school, that is the particular level where students will actually pick their competencies. And you know, we have STEM, arts, and we also have social sciences, Madam Speaker. And what I'm referring to is that for students to be able to identify their competencies, especially those that may want to pursue STEM at senior school, then they need laboratories, Madam Speaker. And we have very few schools, especially public schools, junior secondary schools, that have laboratories. Exactly what is the plan of the ministry to see to it that at least every junior secondary school has a functional laboratory in order for those that may have a competence in STEM to be able to be exposed to the same. So it's about labs, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
CS, you can proceed to respond to those. Okay, Senator Manzo. You can proceed to ask the question.
Just first, I'm grateful to what Catherine Buma did. I was actually here, and a member's son was arrested, and I've just managed to get him out on bond. So the most important part of this question was that Makwiny has now been declared a non-hardship area. Yet we know it's a hardship area, and the teachers there are in outcry. What is the ministry doing about that? And could the minister give the justification for such a decision? Yet we know very well Makwiny County is a seriously hardship area. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Then finally, Majority Leader, you have a question also?
Madam Speaker, a totally unrelated question, but you know, citizens are following what you're doing here. And somebody has just sent one of the people who employed me, which is my constituent, has sent me a text and said, please, I work as a police officer. While they paid the teachers who are involved in the marking of national examinations, the police officers who provide the guarding services, you know, the containers that carry the exams, up to date, 5 months after the exams were released, they are still waiting for their pay. So he said, please bring it to the attention of the minister so that those officers can be paid. I thank you.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I think, CS, you can now tackle those questions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On the question of reclassification of Makwiny as a non-hardship area, this is, I think, a general problem in the whole of government, because we found in certain areas you'd found one part of government classifying it as hardship, then the other part does not recognize it as hardship. So you'd have two officers, maybe a teacher and a civil servant in the same area being classified differently. So we've made a recommendation that an audit be done, and we have an actual gazettement of all the hardship areas so that it is harmonized. So with respect to the reclassification, I don't have clear information as to how this has happened. I'm hearing it here for the first time, and I undertake to find out what is the basis of that reclassification. But as far as our programs in the ministry are concerned,
CS, can you confirm within which period you will bring back that response on the reclassification? You are undertaking the period.
2 weeks, Madam Speaker.
That's okay.
With respect to our ministry, with respect to the school feeding program, we have a program where we are supposed to work towards reaching 10 million children. We are currently supporting 2.6 million, which is far below the children who actually require that support. So we will be working continuously to reach that number, and that number was the target for 2030. So we are looking forward to get resources from both the government and our partners to ensure that children in the ASAL areas who deserve to get this program, and those in the urban informal areas who require this support so that we retain them in school for one reason, to retain them in school as required under the Constitution. We look for resources to ensure that we reach that number. In the question to Senator Nyutu on the number of laboratories, this year in the budget we provided for a budget to construct a further 1,600 laboratories. We are also working with our SEPU, the school equipment unit, to provide mobile laboratories, and also working with other institutions because we realize that some of the JS schools are adjacent to secondary schools, so they join together and use those facilities so that they are not completely left out. So as a government, we are working progressively to ensure that each and every school has a lab. We are also working with the CDF to convert some of those classrooms that have been done into labs for these students and provide the much required lab equipment so that they are not completely left out. We are aware of it and we are doing something about it. I've answered the hardship area, the issue that will respond in 2 weeks and give that reason. On the issue of non-payment of police officers who assisted us in the examination, I am aware that there was a challenge with the budget and we've requested for some resources under Supplementary 3 and we'll be going to sort out the police officers once that exchequer is released. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Kadhi's supplementary question has not been responded to. The schools in slum areas.
Oh, yes, sorry, yes, true. The question of how many schools that have been built, public schools in informal settlements in Nairobi. I have asked the DG to give us that report within 2 weeks. I do not have the actual data. So we'll also provide it through the Education Committee, the actual number.
What timelines do you need for that response? Or Senator, do you want to bring a substantive question?
Honorable Speaker, I think, I believe that is information they should be able to provide in a week. This is a question I asked earlier, Honorable Speaker, just for your information, as a question, but the ministry never responded to it. So I asked the ministry and the County of Nairobi. County of Nairobi responded on what they're doing. The ministry never responded. That was in the last session. So I believe it's information which is about the fact of what you have done. It doesn't need 2 weeks. It can actually be done in 1 week.
Honorable CS, in view of the fact that the question has been asked again, we will allow you between the 7 days to 14 days. But if you can endeavor to provide that information within 7 days, that will be good. But you will have up to 14 days to bring the response to the facts. I believe those are existing facts. You might not need to do much to get those facts. They should be existing in the ministry.
Well guided, Madam Speaker.
Honorable CS, is there anything else you would wish to clarify? You can give your closing remarks as we wind up that session.
Just to thank Madam Speaker and the honorable members for the opportunity to respond to the issues that are facing the ministry, and just to, really thank the members of this Senate and the members of Parliament for the support that they are giving the ministry in handling and sorting out the number of issues and challenges in the education sector. And I believe that working together, we will be able to resolve a number of issues that we are facing, and taking into account also the recommendations and suggestions that you've given to us. We'll endeavor to ensure that we put them into practice in order to resolve the issues, and because generally all of us are working for Kenya. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. And to the students from this school in Tharaka Nithi, let me welcome you to Nairobi, and I'll be passing by to see you. I'm sure that having followed these particular proceedings, some of them might be ending up unseating some of the senators around here. But thank you so much, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, Honorable CS, for the responses you have given to the House. It is quite clear that education is one very critical pillar, which Honorable Senators are very interested in, and I believe even the Kenyans. So thank you for the insights you have offered as you answered those questions. Now you are free and you are discharged. Thank you. Next order. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, consolidation of bursary funds for equitable access to education in Kenya.
Senator Karungo Thangwa, I believe you are the one moving this motion. It's your motion. And as you do so, under order number 8, you will have 20 minutes to move that motion. You may proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to move this motion. Madam Speaker,